pictures. Okay, cool. You know,
Me,
yeah, I think NASA still like makes the satellites
well,
or helps make, but then they let somebody else launch it.
yeah. So yeah, you got
And I mean, it always proves the fact, like I've always said, and a lot of other people always said, private industry can get shit done way better than the government.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's a
There's
Yeah,
a
so
lot less waste.
so now you've got the thing with
What were you
well you
saying,
got
Mike?
I was going to say that now because we're going off the other point about how if Jeff Bezos is Lex Luthor, then you got Elon Musk, which is like which are basically is like Tony Stark, and then you got
I
the
like
guy from
Elon Musk, man. Like I
Oh
don't
yeah,
always
yeah.
agree with what Musk says or anything,
Says
but like,
oh no, yeah,
every now and then he'll just throw some shit out there, and you're like, "Fuck, what if that's right?"
yeah, no, yeah, I know exactly.
Whoa.
But I mean, he's got the SpaceX thing, and then I think the guy from Virgin Records was also trying to get into this.
Was that Branson, right?
No, what's his name? What was that guy's name?
Richard Branson.
I think
Literally his name.
Yeah.
The guy from Virgin.
Yes, obviously it's the Hobgoblin.
Yes, obviously it's the Hobgoblin.
Yeah, Richard Branson. That's it.
Yeah, I said Richard Branson a minute ago.
I didn't hear Branson. I'm sorry.
And I was like, "The fuck are you talking about? It's Richard Branson. What are you?"
The one and only.
It's the guy that owns Virgin. What are you talking about?
Okay, yeah, but yeah, I think he was trying to get into it too. But because was that the one with William Shatner when he went on that little launch
that
thing?
was
that was Bezos. Okay, yeah, all right.
So, anyway, wow, we got it off on a tangent there, didn't we?
Mm-hmm. We usually do, though. It's.
But I agree. I agree. Bezos could 100% be like a James Bond villain, like from the 80s or 90s. He could have been a Roger Moore James Bond villain, or Timothy. Nah, he's not that cool. He's not blowing.
Plus, did you ever see that thing where he's in that like what was it, that power suit looking thing? Yeah. Exactly. Right.
Yeah.
I gotta say, I'm very excited for a cyberpunk dystopian future with mega corporations and all that stuff.
Right? Yeah. That's
yeah.
The next patch is coming out.
I was all excited about that. Remember, I got a new computer and I had it on the day that thing was available. It was literally the first game I put it on.
That's a big mistake
on my computer, and I mean, at first I was on a PC. It ran fine. I had one time when like it after I played it, I don't know, probably like 120, 130 hours. I had one time when it like crashed. Aside from that, it was perfect. And never had any problems with it, after that. And it was all the PC and like Xbox or PS whatever and Xbox One or Xbox players that were like, "Oh my god, this thing's a nightmare." And I was like, "Oh, I wouldn't know about that. I'm PC Master Race. I'm having fun with it."
I know. It was still pretty buggy for me too.
I think it was because I bought like with that new Aurora or that Aurora R11 or whatever it was from Alienware.
So there you go. It was better. It was a better gaming chair.
Yeah, I think it was probably because of just the brute force of my rig. But yeah, I finally just got tired of it because like I mean it's
a little samey after a while. Yeah,
visually it's beautiful, but my god, yeah, it felt it felt repetitive as a motherfucker.
Not a lot of depth.
I honestly did like it. I don't think excusable where it was basically a hunk of junk for anyone who didn't buy a new gaming computer to play it.
Oh yeah, it was so unoptimized.
I bought when I was buying my computer, it was right before Cyberpunk, and I would never have admitted that was for Cyberpunk, but I was kind of like excited for it.
Just a coincidence,
Yeah. And I liked it. Honestly, I just wish there was more. I was hoping for like more like
it did feel like it was like half baked, honestly.
It was huge and there was shit everywhere and it still felt empty.
Okay. I know, like compared to
you guys
Yeah. It gives you like two.
Yeah.
You see, I thought that was the case because I picked the Nomad start, and I thought, oh, there's like this whole Nomad ending, but like, nope. Turns out anyone can get that ending.
Yeah.
Well,
That's not
that's
related.
kind of the problem, isn't it? That problem with sometimes with sandbox games is trying to fill it with stuff in there that
Yeah, it turns out it's mostly just sand.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Well,
was
they
so
spent a
I was
lot
so
of money
sad.
on it. Yeah, that's for sure.
Witcher 3 was like the whole package for me though. Witcher 3 is one of my favorite games. It
Plus,
had a rough start, but compared to Cyberpunk, I was so disappointed.
how much?
Yeah, but
And
that's a
here's the
lot
other
of games
question.
these days.
And here's the other question: how much money did did they have to spend to hire Keanu Reeves to be part of the game? Because
Yeah.
oh gosh,
We can rant about this another day though. I'm
Yeah.
excited for
Mhm.
I
Well, we're
Yeah.
not playing the CIA game.
We are
If you
building
actually
character backgrounds.
read
It's very.
my message today, you would know we were not
Yeah.
playing today.
Mhm.
But oh no, another RPG news though. Campaign 2 and 4 have folded.
Oh
Yeah,
wow.
Alex knew about this, but
Yeah.
Ashley has got a lot of really bad stuff going on right now that she's got to focus on.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
yeah, and so she messaged me and said I have to withdraw from playing role playing games because I need to focus on other stuff. And I was like, I understand totally.
Mhm.
And that left campaign 4 with 2 people,
Mhm.
and it
Mm.
left campaign 2 with 3.
Okay.
And
That's rough.
so yeah, and so
There-
I had talked to campaign 2 last week, or not campaign 2, campaign 4, and told them what was going on. And then I said, okay, well, let me talk to campaign 2 and see if they want to maybe like merge over and we'll play something else, until
Mhm.
Ashley maybe comes back one day. Who knows how long that'll be. So campaign 4, Alex is part of that discussion. We're like, you know what? Maybe we just take a break for a while.
Okay.
yeah.
So so Zane and
Yeah.
Shinogen just wanted to take a break for a while, and they were like, well, "We've got other stuff going on, other D&D stuff. We feel kind of stretched thin or whatever." And I was like, "I understand, I get it." So trust me, I've run 4 campaigns concurrently. I get being strung out.
Having enough, huh?
Yeah.
Right.
So I don't know what I'm gonna do. I feel really bad because in campaign 2 you've got Lockwood who played Brynjar in campaign 2
Mhm.
and played the dwarven paladin in campaign 3, or not
Yeah.
campaign 3, campaign
The
4.
Tempe 4. Yeah.
And he's really evolved as a role player.
Mhm.
Um and I don't want to just kind of cast him to the side, so
Right.
we'll see. I don't know.
Okay.
I may wind up adding him into y'all's campaign for campaign 1.
Oh, that's
Uh
That's
cool.
the
Interesting.
Lockwood guy,
and
right?
yeah, Lockwood, and we'll give him a go and see like how he gels with this group.
Oh, that'd be cool.
We'll,
Actually, yeah.
we'll have an interview for him.
Yeah, wow.
All right.
So maybe I don't know. Maybe we add him into campaign 1 or
That'll be fun
something.
though.
The campaign 3 is the guys my age that I've known forever, and I just don't feel right adding people into that don't know them and
Yeah.
haven't known them for 20 years. There's a lot of what's the best way to say this?
History.
Inside jokes.
Inappropriate jokes, stuff like that. That people my age would probably tell, and people would hate us today for it. Does that make sense? But when you're like with your homies from the past 20 years, you still talk together like you did in like the 80s and 90s. Yeah,
That's how it
yeah.
be.
So you're not as attuned to the youth as today and what's going to offend people, which is literally goddamn anything now. So I feel weird adding anybody into that pool. You know what I mean?
It's all good. It's you love him.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
you love everybody, but honestly, it's easy to keep people separate because they're just from different ways.
Not everyone in different groups is going to get along with other groups.
That is
So-
very true.
Probably the best to trust your judgment for that. Yeah.
Yeah. So, anywho, that's the recent news. I went from having 4 games to just 2 now.
Okay. Which is probably in some ways kind of
and
alleviating
I
your.
was gonna
Yeah.
it's fine. Seeing as how I've been dating a lot more recently.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's good. I could use the extra nights. It's fine. Because that frees up Friday and Saturday for me, or a Sunday, and I'm kind of like, all right, I'm fine with that. That's cool.
It all worked out, I guess, huh?
An
Well,
open
I
weekend
mean,
makes things a little easier.
yeah, I mean, I was still gonna run a 3rd game if campaign, if 2 and 4 wanted to kind of try to combine, but that didn't work
Yeah.
out. So,
Okay.
but speaking of Cyberpunk, in campaign 3 right now, because we took a D&D break, they're currently playing Stars Without Number, which is fantastic.
Mm-hmm.
I've been having a lot of that, and honestly, I like it a lot more than I like Fallout. Fallout's kind of become a mixed bag for me, to be honest.
You're starting to see the flaws in the system.
Yeah, I am. And but Stars Without Number is great. It is really just a big bundle of fun. And most of the big cities on like the colony worlds, that's where a lot of the action has taken place so far for the players. They're like cyberpunk cities. They're like,
Nice.
like cyberpunk mega cities. So there's a lot of cyberpunk elements in there. Well, depending on what you are, there's a lot of different elements. Like they also spend time on a planet that was basically like like any planet you would land on, and in Firefly,
Hmm.
like a space old west town. Anywho,
Oh yeah.
there's part of me that wants to start using Stars Without Number to actually morph that into Star Wars. You could easily do it. The game is set up so that you could basically reskin whatever the hell you want to into something.
That's the best
good
kind of the
We can
flexible
kind of make
systems.
anything work.
You could do Star Trek with it. You could do Star Wars. You could do whatever the hell you wanted to do with it. It's kind of modular, but it's a really great system. All right. So let's get into. Hang on. Let me find some crappy synth music. Let's see here. What about this?
Royalty-free music.
I mean, I guess. Yeah. I mean, it's no Berlin. Take my breath away, but sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Huh? What? No. You can stream all you want to. I'm just saying that it's fine. If anybody wants to stream, that's fine. It just means we have to.
Mhm.
No, it's fine. I'm not saying don't
Yeah.
stream it, dude. That's just me grumbling. I'm like about the current situation of things.
Mm-hmm.
All right. We're not gonna make a new folder. Hang on. I gotta add a
I
hat.
promise if I ever become a composer, I'll give you all the royalties for all the music you need.
All right. Let
Hey.
me see here. So yeah, don't
current
stop
day Kevin McElroy.
Don't stop the stream for that, Neil. It's fine. We'll just learn to love this stuff right here.
Yeah,
instead of
it's not bad.
It's not. Yeah.
I
It
could
kind of fits.
love
you know what?
this.
It's great. It's this is better than the 80s. All right. So I'm gonna put a note in here for you guys. It's gonna be at the top. It hasn't shown up yet. Just chill.
Mm-hmm.
You know us so well.
I'm gonna call the handout best at what they do.
Okay.
And I'm gonna put it in all players, and I'll make it editable if I can get this to work. It's trying to fuck here.
There. Yeah.
Now,
there it is.
Now let me see if I can. Hang on.
All right, we can see it. We cannot edit it.
Yeah, there we go. You should be able to edit it now. So basically,
I'll edit it.
I want everybody to go in here and just put your. Well, don't everybody jump into it at once. We'll kind of go one at a time.
Okay.
But I want everybody to like add in like what their like what their big skills are, what their big skill set is. Don't list shit that's like at 30%.
Horse.
We want those
Right.
75s.
Yeah, and if you maintain the riding horse thing, I'll slap you.
I will officially bury this joke then. Sorry.
Okay.
All right, I will go first because I got here first.
Yeah, that's fine.
So Dex.
I mean, like, yeah, like your whatever your high ability scores are, like Dex, Strength, whatever, and your yeah, and like your top skills.
I actually named my character Dex.
Oh, that's not going to be confusing at all.
No, that doesn't sound. I don't think it'll be confusing. Or
Make a
anything like
Dex
that.
check, hallelujah, or something. You gotta yell out some kind of cool catchphrase.
That's when I get slapped across the face. That's a Dex check.
I mean, every check he makes is a dex check.
So everyone take a turn doing that, and while you're doing that, Alex, while you're doing it, just save it and then designate somebody else to pass it on to. You can do it for
Will
you and
do. If
Kelsey.
You got it.
All right.
I'll
So
do everything up to 60.
since you're doing that, the purpose of this part 2 of session 0 is to determine, number one, if you've ever worked together before. Some of you, right? This is the first time you've all worked together on the same team, but maybe some of you have worked together like on a one-off basis somewhere else. This is mainly going to be you guys trying to figure that out. There are going to be key NPCs that some of you know. We met a couple last time already. But yeah, depending on who you are, there may be some people that you've been in contact with before. Excuse me. All right, so right off the bat, I'm going to start with. You know what? Let me put a
right.
player. Huh?
Dex is done. It's Rick's turn.
I'm sorry.
Me?
Who's?
Okay.
Hang on. Did you do you and Kelsey?
I did not do Kelsey.
Do
I
Kelsey.
can do Kelsey too.
Yeah, do Kelsey while you're in it.
You got it.
All right. Let me put a note handout in everyone's folder, real quick. Give me a minute. I hate that it defaults to mysterious note, and I'm like, can it just be notes? You know, why does it have to be?
Yeah, notes are pretty cut and dry most of the time. They're pretty straightforward and clear. Not a lot of, if you're going to leave something written down, you usually want to be concise.
All right, so
to the
you've
point.
got one in your folder, Sarah. So I'll do Mike next. Give me a second.
I do.
Okay.
And this is just stuff that, like, I tell you anecdotally. And then tonight we're going to go into your backstories as well. I want you to share that with the group.
Okay. Well, what if
I should
there's
think of
certain
one.
things?
Hang on. Don't jump the gun. All right. Next up is Mike and Mike. All right, Mike, your note thing is done.
Yep.
Let me add one in for Neil next.
Annette is best at.
Is that his name
They're a
that
little
you settled on?
rounded, which is interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
I think I have an uncle named William Connolly. That's weird. Are you sure? I think you were onto something special there, but to each their own, I guess.
Your sure wasn't hard.
Yeah.
Listen,
right.
sometimes you can just go for it.
I mean, you had an action hero in the 80s named Cobretti. So actually, as a kid, I really loved Cobra. It was so bad. As an adult, I can't watch it because it's just fucking terrible. But as a kid, that grew up on like in the 80s, that was growing up on shit like G.I. Joe and Terminator and Commando.
I've been muted the entire stream.
Oh my god.
You know what?
Well, that's okay. Please enjoy generic gray background for the stream.
All right, so I put
that should be good.
I put notes in your folder. You can use those for you and Kelsey's character, since y'all always use the same folder anyway. Excuse me.
You all right, George?
Yeah, I've had a persistent cough this week, and I
leftovers from your COVID.
I think it's allergy related still, to be honest, because we're still in that false weather part of Texas where it's 75 one day and then 28 the next morning.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we were talking about that earlier.
I've had a migraine and the sniffles all day today, so I would think it's.
I have too. Yeah.
Now, just out of curiosity, can our other characters see what's in our notes, or just
no? You can keep all your secrets, all your other things, whatever.
Okay.
No one can see anybody's notes. All
right.
So I guess
Annette is done. I choose Rick.
Okay, Rick, you're next in the best stat folder.
It's my turn to. Okay. I'll make you guys proud.
Let me go back and play that music again. I think it was this.
I'm just gonna cut this out of the
No,
YouTube
it wasn't
version.
that. There we go. So we're gonna start with Mike actually.
Okay.
Since Mike, you said your character was a defector.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And number one, why did he defect?
Well, here's the thing. He was
Or
in
is this
Afghanistan.
secret? No one can know things.
Well, that part of it. Well, part of it is, but the main part that what you guys would know is, I'm sure, is that while he was over in Afghanistan being a sniper, he got into a little bit of a fight with his commanding officer, and basically killed him. And so,
Very minor conflict.
yeah, very minor disagreement there. And so, yeah, he just kind of like, oh, well, maybe I gotta leave, and so he kind of.
Why
So
did
he wound up
why did he kill the guy?
because basically basically the commanding officer was during a different basically a skirmish. The commanding officer, his I guess the current one thing he says, oh, we got to leave the balance. The cause is hopeless, and my guy's like, no, we got to stay here. We got you can't just leave. We can't just leave. Our troops are saying like, oh, we're going, and so they got into a big fist fight. And while he was punching, and when he punched the guy, he hit him a little too hard, and the guy dropped dead.
What the fuck?
Okay.
Hate it when
Alright.
that happens.
So
Damn!
the-
I punched him too hard.
So there
yeah.
were American CIA agents working in Afghanistan, working like counterintelligence.
Yep.
It was another proxy war, like Korea. But so there were CIA definitely on the ground there. We didn't have any American military, but we had CIA training the Afghani freedom fighters.
You see,
Yep,
you see
that's-
Will Connolly. You see Will Connolly mock waving you from the from the scope of your rifle.
We had that could be a way that you guys know one another for sure.
Oh yeah, because if that's because I imagine if I think because Neil said something about his character was basically doing covert stuff there.
He's been doing wet works CIA shit all over the Middle East and Latin America.
Heads up, Neil. It's your
it's
turn to put your
very
skills on the
possible
list.
that we were on both opposite sides, obviously, in that thing, and it's just like, oh yeah.
Okay, Neil, did you hear Sarah?
Yes, I did. I'm going in.
Okay. All right, so yeah, on the if you want to, yeah, we can say that maybe you defected to to the group of CIA officers that William was in. Maybe that's how you two know one another. But while you were a good sniper for the Soviet
Military, yeah.
I was about to say apparatchik, and I don't know if that's the correct term, but
Well,
anyway, you did know two people, and I want you to write these names down. You could do them in your notes.
Okay, 1 second. I got to get my note things all set up because it's kind of weird on the transcripts and things. But okay.
Your best friend at the time was an agent named Gregor Rostov.
Gregor Rostov. Okay.
And another agent that worked in your unit was Svetlana Petrenko. Very beautiful blonde woman.
Svetlana. How do you spell Petrenko?
Petrenko.
NKO.
Like
okay.
Petrenko, but it's pronounced Petrenko.
Okay. All right.
So those are two former allies that you know.
Okay.
That were with Soviet intelligence, KGB.
Okay.
And you haven't heard anything from them. You haven't had any communication with them. You wonder how they're doing. You wonder if you ran into them somewhere else in the world if they tried to kill you.
Yeah.
So you don't really know what your status is with them.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. And so then we can say that you surrendered to William Connolly's group, and that's where the two of you kind of became pals, at least. Maybe, I don't know. It's up to you. I'm not going to force that on you guys, but maybe he's the one that helped bring you into the CIA.
And because hey, he's got info. He's got some info. Maybe you go. Oh, all right.
And
Our-
he's still waiting for him to give it to him.
To deliver the goods because everything's a secret. No, I can't. Reveal it.
I need the money first, before I pay. Yeah,
All right.
I give you anything. No.
All right.
So we've established a connection. Go ahead.
Who's last? Mike, are you last?
It would be Mike.
Okay,
Yeah.
Mike, you're up.
So Mike, you can
All right.
now edit the best at what they do folder, and this is going to help me.
Okay.
It'd be kind of a cheat sheet to know, okay, who needs to be doing this. I can kind of arrange, maybe try to put people in the right situations, for example. So we've established how Alexi and William know one another. So let's go next to Rick.
Oh, that's me.
So so Leonardo Jimenez.
Yeah,
tell
that's
us
a cool
about
name.
Leo.
Formerly a man of less than legal sort of criminal persuasion, a smuggler in the South American countries.
Okay.
Until he wasn't. He was a prisoner. Didn't really go well, and they offered him a deal. It's like, hey, you do some work for us, and you get to not be in prison. And that sounded like a pretty good deal, and that went on for a couple of years.
Oh yeah, so he got caught and put into American prison.
Yes. Yep.
All right. Well, what country was he working out of? San Salvador, Nicaragua, Colombia, Mexico,
Venezuela mostly, but a little bit of everywhere.
Vuvuzela.
Well, that would make sense. Back in the '80s, Venezuela actually had money, unlike now. And you could
get in while you're good. Yeah.
They can sell drugs and buy drugs and do all kinds of shit.
Cold War is when no landline.
Now they spend their month. They have to decide where they're going to spend their money for the month on toilet paper.
I read it. It was harsh. I read an article where people were quitting their jobs to farm World of Warcraft gold because it was worth more than Venezuelan currency.
Yeah.
Oh,
which is such a interesting but bleak take on modern society.
I'm 14 and this is deep.
Yeah, but after doing some work for the CIA, probably as like an informant, or maybe not doing great jobs, but still he bared with it long enough that they were able to, like, you know what, this guy's actually useful.
Would you say you're an actual recruited CIA agent, or would you think of yourself more as an asset?
He's probably been in long enough that he's a little more comfortable in his role. He's a bit of a swindler, a bit of a fast talker, so he would probably make it work for himself. He's like, I can make this work. I can find a benefit of this for where my life's going. Not where I was going initially, but I like the way the wind's blowing.
I'm going to say that they have had the CIA has had you out here in California, specifically Los Angeles, for at least a year.
Excellent.
And the reason is that you've been running sort of surveillance and, actual, covert surveillance, eavesdropping, that kind of thing, and human intelligence on a lot of the Central American groups that are, like, and when I say groups, I mean like gangs and criminals that are actually out here in Los Angeles. Because, a lot of them, like San Salvador, Nicaragua, a lot of them have ties to Russia. And a lot of them are paid by Russia to create problems in America.
I get paid to fix those problems.
Yeah, you've probably had to kill a few people before. All right, so as someone who's been out here for that long, you would have known that there is another CIA agent that sort of works counterintelligence also in Los Angeles, and his name is Simons. That's all you know.
Simons?
Yeah, you don't know. You guess that's not his real name, either first or last. He's just Simons. That's what you call him.
Gotcha.
And there's another agent that works with him. He's sort of probably in his mid-30s. She is much younger. She's about 23 or so. And her name is Zoe. She has dark hair. All right. So those are two people that you know.
Gotcha. Putting that down. So I know that Simons is 30-ish, and probably not his real name. Don't really know anything else about him. Also, Zoe, slightly younger, dark hair. That's the depth of my knowledge.
And I guess I could show some of these people, just so you have just so you kind of have a gist. Let's see here. So that's Simon's.
Yeah, he looks like a Simons.
Oh, Charles Bronson.
That's not Charles Bronson. That's Fred Ward.
It looks
from,
like him.
that's Fred Ward from Remo Williams.
You fucking
Oh,
moron.
that's okay. Yeah, well, okay. Oh, yeah, from the Legend Continues guy. Yeah, okay.
Gotcha.
And his co-agent out here, the junior agent is Zoe Baker. Let me show that. All right, so those are the two that you know. Leonardo. You go by Leo? Do you have
probably,
a fake name?
Leo.
Okay. All right. And Alexi. I'll show you these people. Let me take off some of this
Is
information.
that spelled like with a KS or with an X?
What?
Alexi. Hey, is it ALEKSI or?
Oh, Alexi.
XI? Yeah.
Alexi would be a XI. Oh, you mean he spelled it ALE. Can you not see him in the character folders under Mike? Hang on.
No, I only see my own.
All right, give me a second.
I guess I can just ask Mike now that I think about it.
Venkman's in the chat. He's saying that he knew it was Remo Williams immediately.
Venkman's pretty cool. All right, I'll at least let you guys see each other's pictures. So
Okay, with an X. Okay.
Yeah, give me a second.
So there's many ways to spell Alexi.
I worked hard to grayscale some of those photos.
Excuse me.
Jafar. Okay, I can't play with you right now, puppy.
Hi, Puppo.
You named your dog Jafar?
My sister named him Jafar.
Why'd you name your dog after? Why'd they name your dog after a Disney villain?
She named all of her dogs after Disney characters.
I like naming.
That's like naming a gorilla Gaston.
No, look.
Well,
one of my favorite Disney villains is Jafar.
Well, he's my favoriteest puppy, but I can't. He keeps giving me his. He keeps trying to give me his favorite tennis ball, and right now I'm in the middle of something, buddy.
At parties, back in the day, I used to be able to perform. Once I was drunk enough, I would perform Jafar's Prince Ali reprise for people.
When he was finally got the upper hand and he was revealing him for who he is. Yes.
I would sing it here, but I don't want Neil to get banned from Twitch from the.
Oh yeah,
from the
Disney
Twitch.
has an itchy trigger finger for that sort of thing.
Disney would get you.
All right.
What's this?
But what was you said I knew Mike's character Alexi in what fashion?
No, I didn't say you knew him. I was saying Alexi. I was about to show him pictures of the people that he knows, and then you were like, "Wait, I can't. What's his name?
I'm
I
sorry.
can't see him."
Yeah.
And then
I thought this was still for my notes.
All right. So Alexi,
Yes.
I told you that you knew Gregor and Svetlana. So that's Gregor.
Oh,
And he was like your bestie, right? Like he was like he you guys worked together a lot and like were very chummy. You both probably saved one another's lives at different times. Yeah. Like he trusted you, man.
Oh yeah.
And Svetlana is Ukrainian and she looks like this.
Ooh, okay. All right.
That's Charlize Theron from
Atomic Blonde, right?
Yeah, Atomic Blonde, which is a great movie.
It's underrated as hell. I've never seen anyone talk about it.
I've yet to see that film, but I should, I heard some stuff about it, so it's cool. All right.
Aren't they making a sequel?
Wouldn't be surprised.
I think they heard that they might be. That has some of the best fight scenes I've seen in a movie in a while. It really did. It floored me. They have like long take, where like they don't cut or anything.
Oh yeah.
And I mean, like it's like an extended long fight scene. I've always been impressed with it. It's online. You can find it if you haven't seen it. It's beautiful. All right, let's switch over to let's switch over to Annette. Let's do Annette next. Are you there, Kelsey?
She is opening up her Roll20 on her laptop. Would you mind sending a link to her Discord?
It's in there. It's in our Discord. I think it's pinned.
Yeah, and I don't think that link is pinned, but it's in the espionage channel.
It's in the espionage channel. Hang on, I'll pin it real quick. Give me a sec.
Yeah, we kind of went off on a tangent there after last week.
Yeah, you posted a lot
Scrolling
of
back
Bill
up
Nye the
through
Science
these.
Guy.
At everyone.
It was a bit of a tangent, yeah.
Oh, I've got it. I'll send it to Kelsey.
Hang on. I just there you go. I just pinned it. There you go. So if you hit the pin, you'll find it.
Wait. Stop moving. I'm trying.
All right, then let me add Kelsey in here onto y'all's notes if she's going to be on.
It has more. And the thing.
Let me know, or when I see you pop up in Roll20, I'll give you notes access to under you and Alex's folder, and control of your character sheet.
There we go.
We got it.
Okay, all right. Give me a minute.
Took forever.
Kelsey. Okay. So now let me give you character sheet access. Kelsey.
Noro Jimenez.
All right. And let me. There we go. Take that away. All right. You should be set up now.
Thank you.
All right. So, Annette, your character was a member of French intelligence, and you transferred to CIA. Are you hello? Are y'all even hearing me? Okay, are y'all listening?
I'm hearing you.
Thank you. Well, I'm talking to Alex and Kelsey because
Yeah.
it sounded like they were having a
Can
conversation in the
you hear me?
background, and I was trying to talk to them. Yeah,
Oh,
I can hear
sorry.
you now.
Hello?
Hello.
I can
Yes,
hear.
we can hear you now. Yeah.
Can you hear me though?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
All right. So you were French intelligence. You transferred to the CIA. Your handler in the CIA is well, you've got it down here as Harry Lyman. Harry Lyman is actually the liaison, the MI5 liaison to the CIA, or one of them.
I
And
can
it says
change
like
that.
it's huh?
I can change that if you want me to.
Yeah. While you're technically your CIA handler is a guy named Ben Michelson,
Wonderful.
and
I got it.
and I showed him to you guys last time, but I'll show it to you again. Give me a second here. It's this guy. He's
Oh yeah.
Bernie Casey from the '80s. That's technically your CIA handler. That's who you report to. But Harry Lyman is someone that you know. Harry Lyman may have been someone that you know,
He may have
that
been the
you
Green
know.
Goblin.
He Harry Lyman is someone that you may have known a little bit better than most people know Harry Lyman. If you get my drift, it's up to you. He's a he's a
Yes.
he's a he's a handsome guy, and I know you like I know you like characters that get around.
Yes, I do.
All right, but you also know that living out here in LA, and I'm going to say that you know her from the time because she used to help French intelligence, and now she's somebody that like helps French intelligence and the CIA because she's like stupid rich, and every now and then she comes across, like every now and then they need somebody, like sometimes they may go to her to like set up meetings with other rich people who may be doing fucked up shit, you know and then they can like surveil like like wherever she's meeting them or something. She's kind of like she would be considered kind of an asset, but her name is Fleur Renault, and this is why you couldn't use Catherine Deneuve as your picture earlier because it was one of the ones you sent me, and I was like, she's already in the game, and that's her, I think, from The Hunger. So yeah, that's a character that you know. She's currently living in LA, but she's got like she's got a mansion in LA, but she's actually got like a large estate back home in France. All right. So Annette, how? Let's see if you maybe know any of the other people in here. I doubt you would know Leonardo or Alexei just because of their backgrounds and backstory and where they've been. But we've got potential for you to have known Dex or William previously.
I've been in the States for about a year on a first probationary period to make sure I wasn't a fucking idiot, probably.
How's that going?
Still working
Going
on it.
well. Going well. I think I did good.
All right.
So I probably met Dex while he was in Basic. Um, just because I had to go through and, you know, be there at least once.
I love that you guys are learning spy talk or like like government agent stuff. That's impressive because like I didn't have a sheet on it or anything. You guys are just like, no, fuck it, I'll read up on them all. I'm impressed with that. I like that.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I probably met Leonardo on probably a job, actually. Probably met him there. Not Leonardo, William.
Okay. Well, Leonardo's been out here for about a year.
Yeah,
So we'll
probably
say that
Leonardo.
you.
Because we are both technically foreign agents. We
Okay.
probably met to do some weird side hustle mission thing that they that they need foreign people for.
Okay. All right. That's fine. That works. Leonardo, is that all right with you? Are you amenable to that request? Okay, we'll come back to Leonardo.
No, I'm sorry. I was trying to deal with the dog real quick. Could you repeat the question? I'm sorry.
Yeah, Kelsey, can you repeat everything that you said?
Sorry, Kelsey.
I probably when I first started my program, I met Dex over in Langley because they wanted to make sure I wouldn't fuck shit up. Did good, got out, wonderful, yay. And then they probably put me on a weird mission with you because they're like, two foreign people, we need this.
We need our tokens on the field now.
Put the foreign people together. Affirmative action. Yep.
I love how diverse the 1980s are. The CIA is.
Listen, the '80s were very diverse on some of the shows. They actually were.
Yeah, no, I do know that. I'm not for the shows. I'm sure. I'm questioning it, but that's fine.
I think their logic is if they get caught destabilizing like some third world country, they can go, well, it's okay, we have a black guy here.
That's.
I mean, on Chips, for example, Chips was a huge show when it was on TV. I mean, it was big. And the sexy guy wasn't the milk toast white dude.
Oh no, it was Ponch.
It was Eric Escobar.
Eric Estrada. Yeah.
I want to say Escobar. There he is.
Even my mom had a thing for Eric Estrada back in the day. Eric Estrada, and oddly enough, the Indian from the Village People. All right.
I appreciate that he's survived long enough to do Cool Cat Saves the Kids.
I'm glad he survived long enough to see himself memed with that "You're a homo."
There he is.
Era of the internet.
All right, so yeah, Annette, in your notes, you want to jot that down somewhere in the notes that you share with Alex's character. That Leonardo, William, and Fleur Renault. Leonardo, I'm going to say that like one of the jobs you and Fleur, or not, one of the jobs that you and Annette did out here, involved posing as like overseas arms merchants that were looking to buy weapons from like an American black market arms dealer, and the so that you guys could shut that all down. And I'm gonna say the meeting actually went down at Floor's L.A. mansion.
Gotcha.
Like the CIA set that up, so Floor, or you have at least you've met her a few times, Floor Renault. All right, very good. So Dex Paul, give us your backstory.
Well, Dex was a military school kid up in Alaska who, after graduating, had interest in like criminal justice and law enforcement and such, and was able to apply to a position with the CIA, able to start going through their training and such. Like great, like straight A student, able to hit all the tests, but lacking a lot of real world experience. Um, he's most comfortable behind the wheel. Uh, and he's exceptionally proficient at driving, but he does carry a cassette tape pack with him to blast any hard rock he pleases as things are getting intense.
Okay.
I honestly, my first thought is like this is his first job, but that doesn't really match well with all the other characters.
I'm
Maybe
gonna
yeah.
add in a wrinkle.
Yes. Let's do it.
And I'm gonna, because every time, like, I said, like, a lot of this, even though it's CIA, I got my inspiration for a lot of this from Miami Vice.
Mhm.
And if you've ever watched Miami Vice now, because back in the day, Miami Vice was high drama. If you watch it today, it is home to some of the worst acting you'll ever find.
Yeah, a little bit.
Like when you watch it today, the flaws are obvious. You're like, oh my god, wait. But I remember liking that back then.
Well, I think what we need to do to solve this is we need to play the JoJo's Bizarre Adventure opening at the beginning of every session.
Yeah, it's not gonna happen.
Which
All right,
one?
especially because it gets us kicked off of Twitch.
Sure.
Yeah.
So, but every now and then, like, there was a deeply personal story, like, somebody from somebody's background would come back. Tubbs had that happen at the start of the show. Lieutenant Castillo had that happen. There were very personal things that happened along the way. Dex Paul, you had an older brother, and your older brother was murdered in Los Angeles by a triad member named Lo Wei.
Oh.
Ruh-roh.
There.
No way, low way.
My way or the
That's
low
the guy.
way?
But you've just been assigned a tragic backstory. Congrats.
Oh, I know. If I don't select it, it will be assigned to me. Was murdered by Lo Wei. Now, was he like also CIA or?
No, Lo Wei's a triad. I told
No,
you
his
he's a
brother, I
triad.
think you mean.
He's a
The older
triad
brother,
member.
the older brother.
He's an Asian criminal. He's in
I
the
meant the older
triads.
brother.
He's the older brother. He was your older brother, and he was murdered by Lo Wei in Los
Okay, got it.
Angeles.
Okay, cool. Sorry.
That's okay.
All
right.
Well, Lo Wei out there. Okay, cool. So yes, he would like to be signed over to Los Angeles for some reason. Yeah, please and thank you.
All right. And you would know that, like, as the triads, they sometimes will, take money to do jobs for the Russians.
Got it.
Intelligence in these days is very interesting. Because a lot of times, like, the people that were on the opposite sides of the field, so to speak, they knew who the other people were a lot of the times. They would see them, but there weren't any really open hostilities. Mostly, like, they see, so they're doing surveillance of a different place, that kind of thing. There was a time when that was different after Aldrich Ames started selling information to the Soviets to make money. He was a very disgruntled CIA guy or intelligence guy. I don't remember if he was specifically CIA or if he was NSA. But he started selling secrets over to the Russians, and it exposed a lot of assets. And at one time, they lost the CIA and the NSA lost contact with over 200 agents and assets
Ooh,
in
that doesn't
Russia.
sound good.
Yeah, and by lose contact, I mean the CIA.
They died.
Yeah, the KGB rounded them up and died. Some of the Americans may have been, like, traded for other operatives, and so forth, like they do sometimes. But if you were Russian and you were an asset selling info over in America, they just killed you.
Makes sense.
They usually drugged you and interrogated you, and then you just disappeared. In America, they didn't do that. In America, they would take you into custody, and then they would try to trade you for other, of their own people over in Russia.
Got it.
But there was, it wasn't like you would bump into an agent from the opposing side that you knew, and then suddenly you just start fighting. It wasn't like that. There were probably, you might even had a few cordial conversations with one another every now and then, because you're both doing the same job, just on different sides of the fence.
Got it.
You
So,
know?
Yeah, today's enemy is tomorrow's friend. So
That's very true. You know,
Especially since the U.S. and the Russians are now in the Security Council together. So
and today's friends are tomorrow's enemies, as we saw in Afghanistan when the CIA was training
ooh, yeah, that was
Afghani freedom fighters who later turned out to be terrorists.
this
still
film
dealing with that one.
this film is dedicated to the brave Mujahideen fighters in Afghanistan.
Right,
Yeah,
yeah.
that aged like a fine milk.
is dedicated to the brave Mujahideen fighters.
So
Stream.
yeah, so Dex, that's a thing that's happened out here.
Okay,
Or Dex, that's part of your backstory. I'm gonna.
That's fine. Does any of the handlers out here know that?
I'm gonna say your main handler, Michelson. I'm gonna say he knows that
Okay, got it. Cool. All right, awesome.
because it's probably in your file.
Got it. So he has ulterior motives to the situation going on. Like, yes, we want to play nice with the Russians. Things are tense, but not openly aggressive. But someone from the
that guy in
Triad killed
Yeah,
my
now,
brother.
no, yeah. So right now, there's no really open hostilities, but I mean, shit can go south.
Yeah,
Right,
has
because
before.
we're still in the height of the Cold War here, too.
Yeah.
No, I definitely understand that. Just a second, excuse me. Things are fine, but on the flip of a dime, things can start going wrong.
Yeah. Like it's all cordial until certain key things are at risk or something like that, and then stuff could get violent. But even though like most of the time when stuff gets violent, a lot of times it's like it'll just get into hand to hand.
I'm gonna run low way over.
And
It's like, why are we cutting through Chinatown? It's like, wait a minute.
so a lot of times it just be a fist fight. But every now and then, it's not unheard of. Somebody gets taken out. Shit goes way south, and
We'll
somebody
get whacked.
Yeah, the stakes are too high, and so yeah, some people may be taken out. But it's typically cordial. And actually, a lot of the KGB operatives out of here actually like being in LA.
Nice town.
It's not cold as fuck, and there's like hot people everywhere, and they can go to the beach.
Not to mention the movies, the music.
They buy blue jeans that you can't get back in Russia.
Coca-Cola.
Yeah. So, all right. So, Dex, have you worked with anybody else on the team before?
Let's see. Anyone who's recently spent, I guess, time at like Central would probably know about them. So maybe he would know about Annette.
Annette and Leonardo, since they both had the.
Yeah, those two.
Okay.
Of them, maybe not formally introduced, but know that they are big and important.
Since we'll just say that, like while you were in training, they were there. Sort of like get their shakedown. Of like being initial agents and everything. So you knew who they were, and that they were like international assets who were becoming agents, but you didn't necessarily hang out with them or know them. How about that?
That sounds.
We'll say you know their names, and you would know them by looking at them by sight. What were you saying, Annette? I'm sorry, Kelsey.
Kelsey, were you saying something?
No.
Oh, okay. I thought you were saying something. Can you do a French accent, Kelsey? I want to hear it.
I don't have it down yet.
She's got to warm up. She wants to.
I'm literally going to be listening to people with thick female French accents.
Kelsey,
all before.
Just get like a YouTube video going, like saying some French words, and just sleep overnight.
Just learn.
How to French accent. YouTube.
Sorry, explain this. All right.
I'm sorry. What did you tell?
Fromage.
Yeah. What did you tell a French person the other week?
Oh yeah. So I was I have a Thursday game where we have a French Canadian in there, and I told him how good my French is. It's really good for anyone who knows. I told him Joe, my pal Alex, and he just keeled over and died.
Damn, was that like a coward kill in French or?
Yeah, it kind of is. Because normally it's Joe, my pal Alex. That's my name, or because Joe, my pal Alex, you will just kill a French person as you say that.
I'll keep that information handy in case I make any French enemies.
There you go. In case the French are on the wrong side, Joe, my pal.
All right. Yeah, Kelsey, you could just throw in like try to like throw in like a Fifi accent, and every now and then you say things like "Zuckerberg," or
Yeah.
you know,
There you go. Perfect. You got
I don't
this.
know. I got most of my French from the Cook and Little Mermaid. So what else is hello? You know,
It checks out.
maybe watch some Inspector Clouseau, some Pink Panther
We'll watch
movies.
Beauty and the Beast, and
Yeah.
I'll listen to some
Bonjour.
Inspector Clouseau and just cringe through it.
Or you
Yeah.
watch Le Femme Nikita if you really want to get into the whole
Yeah,
spy thing.
yeah.
And in the original French with American with some subtitles. And
Yeah,
that's
don't watch the one with Bridget Fonda. Watch the other one.
Yeah, the original one. Yeah.
I'm not saying that's a bad movie. I'm just saying if you want to learn an accent, you should.
Yeah.
watch the
Exactly.
original.
Yeah.
Not to insert myself into Dex, but we probably know each other just from being in the same CIA programs.
Dex would probably take umbrage from you inserting yourself into him. All right.
Not like like a heavy
You
association.
could have
but
phrased
like
that so many other ways, and you chose
Oh
that
yeah,
one.
right.
I mean,
I think he knew what he was doing.
Yeah, I think you know exactly what I'm doing, and I want to say I'm down for it. All right.
wow.
Good.
It's the 80s. People were, I don't know, were they more or less cool about that back then?
I think
Was this before or after the AIDS epidemic?
I think it would depend on where you were.
Yeah.
William Connolly, ass buster.
Damn.
All right. Wow. All
I
right,
didn't think it'd get worse, but
let's focus. Let's focus back. All right. So, Dex, I think that covers you pretty well.
That covers me pretty well.
All right. William Connolly. We've established that you know Alexei. That Alexei, you were in Afghanistan training the
brave Mujahideen fighters of Afghanistan.
Afghanistan freedom fighters. Some of which you may wind up killing in when you're
In your later
before
years.
No,
retirement.
in his
Who
60s,
knows how that'll turn out?
In his 60s, William is just sipping tea on his balcony in New York, and he goes, "Oh, hey, that plane's kind of close."
that kind of like oof.
The year is September 2001.
All right,
Oh,
so
God.
what is William's backstory? We
So-
know that he was in Afghanistan. We know that Alexei surrendered to him, but what else about William do we need to know?
So William was a Vietnam quote-unquote vet, as in he arrived literally the last year of the Vietnam War and pulled out. Like as soon as he arrived, he essentially left. He was headhunted by the CIA, and he served in, I believe, the I'm trying to remember what the actual division is. I think it wasn't counter-terror. I think it was clandestine arms division.
Was William one of those people that were running like the spooky ghost recordings to spook out the Vietnamese? Did y'all ever hear about this shit? It was a psyop.
Ghost recording.
No, this actually
Yeah, this
happened.
was a legit
So
thing,
so Asian cultures, and I don't want to generalize, but you look at China, you look at places like Vietnam.
Yeah, they're highly they are highly paranormal averse.
Yeah, the afterlife and spirits are like a big kind of disturbing, horrific. In China, it's actually taboo in a lot of ways.
Yeah, like the reason that was, I think, the reason they didn't let like any Ghostbusters movies in there, because it's highly focused on the supernatural.
But they straight up wholesale believe that, typically as a culture in Vietnam, and so American intelligence started blasting recordings out of helicopters and also like just throughout like forests where they knew that the Vietnamese were operating, and it was always in the dead of night, like before like the Vietnamese were would probably turn in for the night or whatever. And you can go back and listen to this on YouTube. It is some of the scariest shit I have ever heard. It just because like imagine like the CIA trying to determine what like would like Asian afterlife or ghost would sound like, and it's them wailing about who
I
will
would
find.
love to be in that meeting,
and
like,
they
we
just
need to know.
and they would like blast this stuff out of the helicopters on sorties. Yeah, they would spook the shit out of the Kong.
And it would sound like a ghost wailing, and this shit was surreal. lamenting the fact that his body is lost. No one will ever find his body and bury him properly. And he'll be. I mean, to them, it was terrifying.
But no,
And
but Will wasn't in like counterintelligence. He was U.S. Army. The CIA recruited him after he returned from Vietnam. But yeah, he's basically kind of been, I guess, all over the place. He's been destabilizing communist regimes in not in Cuba, but in Chile. I think he probably ran into Leo in Venezuela.
Depending on how far back he went, yeah, he might have.
Yeah,
but friendly criminal Leo rather than CIA agent Leo.
But yeah, his partner was killed, or his partner in Special Activities Center, which is what he was part of, when they were doing wet works ops in Chile, was killed, in service of the Pinochet government.
Okay.
As it were, and so on his own, he's been training the brave Mujahideen fighters in Afghanistan, which is where he extracted Alexei Smirnov.
Okay.
Yep.
And he was recalled back to the States for whatever we're about to do in this game.
Ghost tape number 10.
Oh God, he's actually looking it up.
Oh, did you find it? Dude, it is
No,
disturbing.
I listened to it while I muted it, so that's
it was terrifying.
I like.
Yeah.
But he works for Special Activities Center before it was Special Activities Division. It was Special Activities Center. So yeah.
There you go.
Because it used to be sad if it was special activities.
No, it's sad. It's sad now. It used to be SAC, but now it's sad.
Oh, that's definitely a backward slide if you ask me.
All right. So we've established your backstory. You probably ran into Leonardo. Well, we've said Leonardo's been out in L.A. for a year. And before that, he was in prison before he got recruited.
Probably in prison somewhere.
Leonardo may be a bit of a stretch, but I don't know. It's up to you two. Leonardo, are you good with that?
Sure, maybe way back in the past, hey, back when I knew that guy when he was still a criminal. It's like,
yeah, maybe you knew when he was a criminal. How about that?
Yeah. Wait, that guy smuggled me out of Venezuela 10 years ago.
How about that, William? Does that sound good?
Yeah.
Okay.
I put that in my notes. So.
Okay. All right. All right. So, William, someone you know out here in LA is LAPD's Sergeant Lisa Melrose, who serves as a liaison for the CIA in Los Angeles. And not only do you know her, you used to be engaged.
Aye.
But it ended because when things were getting serious, you popped the question. She thought it might be a much different life. Maybe you would take a permanent position, working in a local office, like in LA,
like in TFAD or something like that.
Yeah, not as much out in the field, right?
Not as much wet work.
Yeah, but then because she didn't want to be one of those wives who has to sit at home and wonder if you're dead and she'll never see you again, but no one can ever tell her, for example. So yeah, you guys wound up breaking up.
Was it like was it like a really angsty breakup, or?
No, it was more of
amicable split.
Well, it was more of a she was pretty put out that you were asking her to marry you, but you couldn't make her a priority over Uncle Sam. And so yeah,
my dick only gets hard for the state.
Jesus, right. All right.
Well,
So she we'll say whenever you two are around each other now,
it's very awkward.
it's cordial. It's but it's also very stiff. Up stilted. Kind of tense. Yeah, awkward.
You mean that the spark? You mean saying that the spark could fly at any moment, kind of thing?
Oh yeah. Who knows? Maybe Williams, coming off of something where he was in deep and. He's maybe even suffered trauma. Who knows? And he just needs, if he goes to Lisa and is like, I don't know, this was really bad, Lisa. I almost didn't make it or whatever. And then she's like, oh, God. And then,
Top quality drama. I love it.
Thank you. Yep. Yeah. But it's that kind of thing. It's the reason that Crockett and his wife broke up in Miami Vice.
Yeah.
All right.
F in the chat, lads.
F in the chat. So, yeah. That's who you know. You know Sergeant Lisa Melrose. And for those, can anyone remember who she was? Those of you who may be old enough to remember.
Oh gosh, she looks familiar.
That is Lisa Eilbacher.
Mhm.
From she had a small supporting role, like background cast member in Officer and Gentleman, and she was Axel Foley's friend in Beverly Hills Cop, the first one. So she was
Oh.
the one that was working for Victor Maitland.
Oh, okay. Yeah. It's been a while since I've seen that movie, but yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So that's who's
Mhm.
I got for that one. All right. So there's a couple in here that that none of you would know, and they'll be here for the next episode for our inaugural episode for this. That I think will probably go for like 5 or 6 sessions, which means you guys will do it for 6 months. We'll see.
Okay.
Yeah, so I look forward to next June when we're finished with this.
Did anyone? Because
I do think we're reasonably going to be done not far from there.
when we did character creation, and you guys, I remember there was somebody who was like, "Yeah, I'm not putting any points in guns," and I was like, "Ah, you might want to, because this is
That was definitely me. I definitely put more points into.
I was about to say, because this is
That's my best skill.
number one. It's not going to make you less of a target. And yeah, because this is going to be very action oriented. There's going to be a lot of horrible conflict. There's also going to be some. What's the best way to say that? There's also going to be some very personal things come up for you guys
Mhm.
as well. So
Like
we'll have to.
the wife, the former fiance, and the dead brother, and all that fun stuff.
But yeah, it's like I tried to add a little bit of something there.
I love it.
And who knows? There might be some
Glad it's there.
chicanerism little.
Oh yeah, with
Little
the
crossing.
ex Russians knowing each other from now former friends staring at each other from across enemy lines now.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so who knows how all that shit goes.
Yeah.
All right. Is there anything else anybody wants to add? Or discuss?
I do want to.
or
I
anything
do
like
want to
that?
add a little point here about Alexi.
Mhm.
He is a huge Elvis Presley fan.
Okay,
Yeah,
now you're just
naturally.
sucking George's
Naturally.
dick.
No. In fact, he is convinced that Elvis Presley is still alive, and that Elvis Presley was the greatest CIA assassin, the greatest assassin the CIA. Dude.
Oh my goodness.
Well,
That's
I mean,
what-
like you would, yeah, like maybe you think that like the picture he took with Nixon and Nixon making him
Oh yes.
an honorary member of the FBI, like Nixon actually gave him an FBI badge.
And plus he was soldier. He was soldier. He went to the army, and probably got recruited. He was recruited other than yeah. And this is so. I mean, that thing about him taking pills and all that, they pure proper American.
So GI Blues is probably like partly accurate, and
Yeah,
Actually, a coded cipher to get information.
yeah, maybe there were subliminal messages and like targeted messages that like intelligence overseas could pick up from GI.
And
Blues.
so oftentimes whenever he gets to go into whenever he goes into action, he puts on his little cassette tape of with his little Walkman and playing some Elvis tunes, probably little less conversation, a little more action kind of thing, to get himself into when he get into into his into kill mode,
Into the zone, huh?
into the zone, like I said,
probably things like little less conversation.
A little less
and,
conversation, a little more action. A little less conversation, a little more action. Yeah.
Probably trouble.
Yep.
Things like that.
Streets of Laredo, or in the ghetto, or
Big
something
Boss
like that.
Man.
Were 8-tracks still a thing in the 80s?
Well, no,
Yeah.
cassette tapes, like the little cassette.
Right, because I know cassette
Yeah.
tapes. My old car had
No.
a cassette player, but
Here's the thing, because every time there's a new generation, every time the technology shifts to something else, the other stuff typically lingers for at least 5 to 10 years.
I've still got a closet full of VHS tapes on it.
Because you still got even back in the 80s, you saw motherfuckers who were like, "Well, I'm not switching to cassettes. That's."
I got all my songs on 8-track now.
I'll tell you, when I was in high school, in the late 80s, I graduated in 90. I actually had an apartment of my own. I went to high school in Irving, and then I moved out of my dad's house in Irving, and then I went over to live with my mom and my stepdad in a town called Duncanville. But I was still commuting to go to the school that I went with, where all my friends are, and where I wanted to graduate from. That's a big no-no. And so when my dad got mad and turned me into the school and said I wasn't living in the school district, they expelled me.
Oh shit.
And I had to go. Now I had long. This is crazy. I had long hair, like really long. I look like a Doobie Brother.
I could never imagine you with long hair. I'm sorry,
I
George.
can't either.
I
Yeah.
look. I'll try to find pictures. I was fat Jesus. I mean, like I had like giant. I didn't go to the barber for like 3 years, and I had a giant mane of hair, and I was the only kid in high school that had a beard, like a full beard. I was one of the youngest guys in my class, and I was the guy that like one of the go-tos for everybody to get booze. Because no one
that was probably useful for that sort of thing.
Booze, hotel rooms, whatever. And so this was when I was a junior. They expelled me. And so I had to go to DeSoto, which was, or not DeSoto. I didn't go to move to Duncanville. I went to a town called DeSoto. Pardon me, I had it wrong. So I had to go to DeSoto High for 3 days. And they wouldn't let me into school unless I shaved my beard off.
Damn.
I had cultivated this beard for I don't know how long. Well, at least that whole first semester. Anyway, so I had to go to DeSoto while my mother and my first grade teacher and my fifth grade teacher and one of my best friend's moms went to go talk to the superintendent of the school district.
You got a whole mob to fight for you.
I did. And the next day after they expelled me was the big pep rally. It was a Friday. And they protested at the because high school kids don't need it. Just give them an excuse.
Pep rallies, yeah, I always hated those.
Mm-hmm.
And so my friends, my besties, because people like me. I mean, I'm not going to brag. I had a lot of friends. I'm that guy that got along with like every group.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Important skill, yeah.
Yeah, like I could get along with anybody, and so I had a lot of friends. And so my friends took black duct tape and started wrapping duct tape around everybody's arms like armbands. And you had like different sections where like seniors and everybody sat there. And they held a big pep rally, but they drowned out the cheerleaders and everything. And they were like, "We want Trey." Trey's my nickname. "We want Trey. We want Trey." And like to the point where they had to stop the pep rally. And I was there because I didn't have to report to DeSoto until Monday. And so, and it was after school, so I wasn't on school grounds during the school thing. So I was like watching from the stands, and I was like, "Oh my God, this is amazing!"
That's pretty hype, yeah.
And then there was like a mini protest at the. Now here's the thing, we were protesting, and I got kicked out. I was absolutely in the wrong.
Well, still, sometimes it's the principle of the thing.
It is. And then you had like the fire truck crew, which is a thing for our high school. They protested during the football game later that night. The cheerleader, the drill team. I was dating one of the drill team captains at the time. They did their own little protest, but not when they were on the field. They did it when they were up in the stands. It was a crazy moment. I had never felt so loved in my entire life. And then that was that one day, and then it was all over. But anyway, I went
come of it. Or,
I had to go. Yeah, well, let me explain. So I had to go to DeSoto for 3 days until, some of my former teachers, my friend's mom, and my mom went up to talk to the superintendent of the school district, and the superintendent was like, because they were pleading my case. They were like, "Look, this is a good kid. We're better off having this kid here." Boy, were they dumb. Anyway, so they talked to the superintendent and also the guidance counselor that was assigned to our particular class. Because back then we had counselors and they stayed with you from freshman all the way till you were senior, right?
Yeah.
And then they get assigned to somebody else after you graduated. He went and spoke on my behalf, and the superintendent was like, "I understand, I get it. I'm sure he's a great kid. He cannot go to school if he does not live in the district." So they went, and my mom went back to take that, to my stepdad. My stepdad said, "We will get the boy his own apartment, and he can graduate. He can live in Irving." And so I wound up living in the same apartment complex as one of my best friends, Dave. And so his parents could come in and check on me if need be. They didn't. They let me alone and gave me my space. So yeah, my entire senior year, I wound up in an apartment all year, just living so I could
Wow.
have an address in Irving. I know.
Did you say your dad was the one who
Yeah,
reported
he
you to the
was.
school
And then,
district?
yeah,
And then
my
he
father.
that was an expensive turnaround for him. He got you an
No, no,
apartment
no, no.
after.
That's my father. My stepdad is
Oh,
the one
that's
who paid for
okay.
me to live in Irving.
Gotcha.
Um,
Gotcha. I forgot about the
and
whole situation.
yeah, and so that was kind of like the breaking point with me and my dad. I didn't talk to my actual father.
Understandable, yeah, all
Yeah.
things considered.
And then he died in a couple of years after I
Oof.
graduated.
Goodness.
So yeah.
I guess
Anyway,
you
so
got
that's
the last laugh. I mean,
so that's a whole story, and now I don't even remember what prompted that whole thing. Oh, cassettes. So while I was living
Yeah.
at home, or not at home, while I was living in my own apartment, um, my mom gave me this little stereo player that she had when I was in grade school, and she and I lived in Fort Worth after my parents had gotten divorced. And it played 8 tracks and cassettes. And she gave me all of her old 8 tracks. And so after school, because I had my apartment, so my senior year, all my friends like came to my place after school because I had beer and whatever, and we were just like, oh fuck it, yeah, this is like Pleasure Island for us. And we would play those old 8 tracks because they were like awesome. Anyway, that's
Also,
my
I'm glad.
do we
Yeah.
want to discuss what kind of weapons we have?
All right, so when you start the thing, you're gonna have a hotel cache in your that's kept in your hotel room,
Uh,
and I'll go ahead and show you what you have now.
Okay.
You can request other equipment if you want.
Rocket launcher.
I was gonna
No.
I was gonna suggest an M16A2 and a Sig Sauer P226.
You're thinking
They're
too
not.
small, but continue, George.
Aren't those submachine guns?
No, Sig Sauer P226? No, it's a handgun.
What's
It's
the second one?
The bomb gun.
Oh, the M16A2.
Yeah.
It's an assault.
Well, no,
It's a
that's an
rifle.
assault rifle. Yeah, it's a rifle. I mean, you can talk to your handler. I mean, your handler will be like, that's kind of high profile for what we're trying to do here.
You can keep it in the trunk.
But yeah, that's what you're gonna have at the beginning. You're gonna have 9mm pistols, a few 38 revolvers, a couple of M19s. If you need to buy other stuff, you can use your,
Oh yeah, we have cash.
yeah, you have $3,000 cash to use for whatever you need.
So
Flash, flash
do
money
the-
in a drug deal, whatever you need.
do any of the guns come with any kind of suppressors or silencers at all?
They do. They do not. That's stuff that you would have to request.
Okay. All right. Yeah.
Crust-
Well, I would.
They're just gonna request we just don't shoot people yet.
Well, I
So
think
the-
Alexei would try to.
So the way it's going to go
Request
down
that.
in the game is you have Michelson,
Mhm.
right, who's your handler, and then he has an
Yeah.
assistant named Sarah Everett. Oh, I think I showed you guys. Like this is Deborah Foreman from Valagar.
Mhm.
And so when you need things, you can request them through Sarah. The Sarah has to get Michelson to sign off on it, and then she's the one that obtains it in LA or has it like delivered or whatever
How nice of her.
after she has approval.
We should probably be nice to her.
We should, yeah, there you go. We should request like a sawed-off shotgun.
I was gonna just say
For
that.
what?
Jesus Christ! What are you gonna do?
Well, you have to remember. You have to
Hide it
remember.
in, like, your coat.
You have to remember you're working for the CIA, but you're trying. Number one, you're trying to be covert. Sawed-off shotguns aren't
Not very
M16,
covert. Yeah.
Not great for
They
being
are.
covert.
I know
Yeah.
the most covert weapon we can get. We should get an umbrella gun.
It's
I
the
don't
weather's
think
gonna,
it's
the
gonna
weather's
work
gonna
that way.
like
Or like a
work with that
wristwatch,
either.
or like a dart shooting wristwatch.
Maybe we just don't start with violence immediately.
No, here's the thing. Here's the thing. I mean, like, because you're wanting to be covert, you're wanting to be quiet about stuff, but there are going to be absolutely times when peace is not an option.
Mhm.
So yeah, I mean,
Yeah, but they don't
whatever.
have to know that.
You may pick up one of the bad guys' guns and start using it, for example.
Yeah, I pumped a lot of skill into weapons.
So don't worry too much. But at the same time, like if you're running around with sawed-off shotguns or law anti-tank weapons, for example, like that, it's gonna the cops are gonna get very concerned about it because I mean you've got free license to do a lot of stuff while you're in the line of work, but at the same time, the LAPD is going to be very upset that there's people with
Oh,
anti-tank
right, yeah.
weapons or whatever, or
Mhm.
so it's going to be a dicey thing.
Foreigners.
It's why you have a LAPD liaison, for example.
This is like pre 9/11, before like cops were armed to the teeth with like shotguns and
Yeah,
assault weapons.
Well, I mean, police still have shotguns in their cars and their cruisers.
That's what I'm saying. Well, yeah.
They didn't
yeah,
have
police.
But like they don't have the APCs that they forget to maintain in Afghanistan and send home.
No, SWAT teams have that kind of stuff.
That's what
They
I'm
had
sa-
that kind of stuff back
Yeah.
in the 80s, yeah. But at the same time, it's clear, like when they show up on the scene, they're clearly identified as SWAT. They can't have people running around looking like civilians, with anti-tank weapons or
With like a rocket launcher or like a sawed-off shotgun.
or walking through the streets with a machine gun. You see what I mean?
Unless we're criminals. If we're posing as criminals, we're going to request one to pretend to be criminals. That's going to be our angle for this.
Well, you don't know what the mission is yet, so
Well, we'll keep that in the back pocket then.
yeah, you don't know what the mission is yet. You'll have to. Sarah, let us hear your Spanish accent for Leonardo.
Oh man,
I
I practiced it a little bit. I thought well, my sister was here. She said you sound like our dad, and I'm like, ugh.
Ay caramba.
But so I changed direction a little bit. I made it a little more cartoony. Let's see if I can get into it. It'd be like, let's see. Welcome to LA. I am Leo Jimenez, agent here. Oh, my dog is mad at me now because I'm talking funny.
Man, I'm so glad that we got Speedy Gonzalez on our side.
I know. I went a little Speedy Gonzalez, but you know what? You got it. Sometimes you just got to go for it.
Well,
Subtlety is
by Antonio Banderas, yeah?
Well, I guess it's more anecdotal. I think you gotta lower your tenor because I work with a lot of Hispanic guys in the paint industry, and they have really deep, thick accents. So
yeah, and it comes down to where you're from as well.
yeah, that's true.
People from more Central America, they have more snappy accents, you see. But in South America, we talk a little more reserved.
Yeah, South Americans and like Central America.
Which is funny because the accent I was doing before for practice was very Central American.
I used to date a girl from Chile, or from Chile, but the way she pronounced it was Chile.
That is how it's pronounced.
Yeah. She said Chile, and she like we would go out to eat a lot of time, and I'd ask her what she wanted. We were so different. Like I'm a big tubby guy, and she was like my height, but like very thin. She had a nice booty though, but she was very thin. She looked more like a fit model, and I looked like fucking Kingpin or whatever.
Dumpy.
And yeah. But I made her laugh, and so it worked, and she liked.
That can be an important skill. Yeah.
And so we would go out, and I'd be like, "Well, what do you want to eat?" And she'd be like, "I want fish," and I would know she meant fish. She was the one that told me because I love sea bass, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she was the one that told me because we went to a place called Blue Ocean. It's a sushi and hibachi place,
Ooh.
but they have a lot of stuff. And I said, "Yeah, I'll have the sea bass. I like sea bass." And she told me, she goes, "There's no such thing as the sea bass in restaurants." And I said, "What do you mean?" And she said, "Sea bass, it all come from Chile, from Patagonia. It is a Patagonian toothfish." And I looked that up, and damn, she was right.
Just give it another name for marketing?
Most of the shit, that we pass up. Well, if you ever see a Patagonian toothfish, you'd be like, "Motherfucker, I'm not eating that." But
right.
It's
not a
tasty as
photogenic
hell.
fish, huh?
Yeah. And so she told me, that's what sea bass is. It's Patagonian toothfish.
Hey, is anyone else having difficulty opening the hotel cache thing? I mean, I closed mine out just so I can check it to see if it can open.
No, I'm not having trouble.
No, but I had an issue earlier opening my character sheet. I reloaded the page and I fixed it.
Oh, okay. Well, then I guess I have to do that then.
So do each of us have this, or is this?
No. This is total
Shared.
what you have in your hotel room when you start the mission.
Okay, got it. All right.
Okay, so this is
hang on. I keep trying to bring this up and I get bombarded. Okay, hang on.
Okay.
You also have $500 in cash, each of you, just your own money. So if you want shit like knives or stuff like that, then that's going to be y'all having to go and get those. And yes, you could find knives in LA in the 80s.
Go to the knife store.
Oh, don't worry. I get stuff cheap.
But shit like if you wanted to like garrote somebody, or something like that.
Oh yeah, we gotta go to Garrott's R Us too.
No, you're gonna have to go to you'll have to go to Sarah, Michelson's assistant, and request it.
So
garrotes are not something that you could buy. Like there's
Right.
actual garrotes that they make, and then there's choking
Mhm.
a motherfucker with a tennis,
Right.
shoestring. That's different.
So then our actual cash then would be $500, not 40.
No. You each have $500.
That's like personal
Yeah.
money, right?
That's personal money, and then
Yes.
at the hotel you have $3,000 in cash.
Okay. Yeah.
That
So I'm just saying that.
that's not per person. That's total. That's that you all have $3,000 cash kept in the. You have 2 hotel
Com-
suites, and it's going to be kept in one of the 2 of them.
Oh yeah, but
Dibs.
on our person, if like our personal cash would be 500, because we have
Right.
on our character sheets, it says $40.
No,
Yeah,
no,
you can.
yeah.
You can.
Yeah, that's why I'm just
You're each
saying.
starting with $500 of your own money. If you want to
Yeah.
buy a knife, you're typically going to have to go out and use your own
Yeah.
money.
Gotcha. Okay.
Stuff like that. If you want a flashlight, whatever.
Mhm.
If you want
Yeah.
a bottle of lime juice and some sugar or whatever rolling grape
Cigarettes.
you want, that's going to have your money. Yeah,
That's absolutely.
Cigars.
yeah. If you want a sniper
Magazine.
rifle, Alexa, you're gonna have to request
Yeah,
that.
gonna have to request that. Yeah, because I mean, it's also because at least you got at least a suppressor of some kind. Because
Oh,
if we're
yeah.
gonna be
Yeah, a suppressor is not an unreasonable request, but that's
Yeah.
that's going to be something that you have to go through.
Yeah.
Sarah.
Yeah, I wrote in my notes that Will's preferred weapons, like I said, are Sig Sauer and then an M16A2 with a compensator 5.56. So he's definitely into the suppressor game.
Mm-hmm.
All
You
right.
get one to share.
Or no, it's a muzzle
So-
brake. My bad.
So, does anybody else have any questions before we wrap up?
I think you mentioned what car I have, but I didn't write it down.
You all, I mean, you all have. I didn't say what kind of car you had.
Oh, yeah.
Um, You all have like a mid-sized 4-door American sedan.
Like a Lincoln Diplomat or something.
Yeah, something like that. Something nondescript. Something that's not going to, because again, the whole point of most of your time, you're trying to blend in, right?
Yeah, it's a little crowded now. I think we got 5 people.
If you need a different car, for whatever reason, and you're like, you know what, we got to go out with a luxury car or something like that. We got to get something like this because we're going to pose as this or whatever. That's going to have to be a request.
Request through Sarah, huh?
Request to Sarah. Yeah.
I feel like we're gonna be talking to Sarah a lot.
If you want,
Will hides in the trunk. Will hides in the trunk with his assault rifle.
He springs out.
Hands up, bitch!
That'll be Plan B.
All right,
Plan we
any
just leave
other-
him in there.
Any other questions?
I'm just excited. I think I'm good.
Yeah, this is actually looking. I'm actually kind of really looking forward to this.
Yeah, this is
So I mean, I'm sure we are going to get like maps of the city or something like that because I mean, obviously.
I can throw in a map to the city before next session.
Thanks.
Yeah, because I mean, just in case, because I imagine we're probably going to be going. Well, I mean, then again, this is LA, so we're probably going to have to
I don't
and
could, but I feel like it wouldn't be accurate.
well, what kind of transportation do we have, or we have to procure our own? Because nobody walks in LA. So.
Again, I just said that you guys have I literally just talked about this. You guys have a
I was
4-door,
Yeah.
a 4-door sedan.
a 4-door Lincoln. Yeah, 4-door Lincoln.
Okay.
Nice.
That'll sit 3 in the back, 2 in the front, etc. If you want a better car for any specific reason, you gotta go through Sarah.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Riding in style, boys.
Yeah.
You don't each have your own car.
Yeah, that'd be a little wasteful.
Yeah. You can also utilize the bus
We get a bus pass.
or taxi. For example.
No,
You could utilize those as well.
Will goes to the moped shop.
Nice. Definitely
Fucking gunning
riding in style.
gunning down the cocaine dealers on his moped with a handgun.
After the most recent Boba Fett, I don't want to talk about Boba.
No, come on. That was it could be worse.
No, wait, hang on. Have you not heard that Eminem song where he tries to make a moped sound badass? No, not Eminem. Macklemore.
I love that song. It's great. I love that song.
All right. So who thinks they know what the mission's going to be?
I don't
Well,
know. Hoping
if
I
it's
will get laid.
Wow.
That's what we're all
okay,
secretly hoping.
here's the thing: if it's in LA,
Yeah.
that means we're close to Hollywood, which
Okay.
means it's probably got some guy left over from the Red Scare or something like that. It's like, hey, there's a guy here in, said that, former. I'm thinking maybe possibly the defector that could be coming wants to come in, and we got to secure him before the other Russians get a hold of him first. It'd be my guess.
Okay. All right.
That's one guess I've got. But since we are in LA, I mean, I imagine it's got to be some kind of maybe there's some kind of a Hollywood connection of some kind, like maybe like one of these, maybe there's some kind of Hollywood guy who's actually a maybe he's got a maybe he has some maybe double agent, because that the thing is that there was
Powerful
I mean,
people have a lot of information, a lot of access. Makes sense.
well, the thing is, the thing is, I mean, I know it's a controversial subject back in the old,
Yeah, the un-American activities committee.
yeah, but that was in the 50s and stuff like that. But there's still probably
Some leftovers, I guess. Sure.
there's probably some. I mean, again, but I'm thinking that there's probably we got to basically pick up a guy and escort him to safety before some other guys get a hold of it.
And
It'd be my guess.
From there.
Yeah, I can honestly say that I have no idea what we're in for, but I'm happy
Yeah.
either way. I'm happily ignorant of what's coming, as usual.
It's gonna be. I think it's gonna be fun. I think you guys are gonna enjoy it.
Okay.
I think it's drugs. I'm thinking it's something big, because this is the 1980s, and the CIA did a lot of fun stuff in the 1980s.
War on drugs, yeah.
There's that.
All right.
Oh, weapons. Well, would this be around Iran Contra? No, because
Yeah, what year is it? It was like 87, right?
Is it 87? It's 87. Okay.
Yeah, so Iran Contra would have happened earlier.
Okay, right. Because we were going over after you signed off, we were kind of going over like, okay, what happened?
The current events around 87 and 86, so we can.
This is
we can have
after Chernobyl.
The Contra affair would have gone on through like spring '87, so
right.
it all went down operation wise by spring, but then the congressional hearing started.
Mm-hmm.
Now, at the end of the campaign, Will gets approached by members of the Secret Service. Hey, man, we gotta take you to DC. You got some things to discuss.
Yeah.
No, we'll be fine.
Oh,
no,
yeah.
But Will was probably one of the people supplying them with weapons.
No, it's all fine. Yeah, we were talking last week about like the movies and stuff, the music that came out around that time, the current events. That way we can have our reference game on point, because I was not personally alive during those years.
War on drugs.
I've heard good things.
Lethal Weapon came out this year, by the way.
It should be about the bite of '87. That's what it's gonna be. That's what it is.
It's gonna be summer '87. So.
Okay. So that means did Lethal Weapon come out in the summer of '87? It says it came out in '87, but I don't know if it was the summer of '87 or not.
Dirty Dancing and Full Metal. Oh, sorry.
It's Die Hard was in '88, and Lethal Weapon was.
It says '87.
Does it? No.
Lethal Weapon's '87.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yep.
Then Lethal Weapon.
Same with Nightmare on Elm Street too.
Yeah, and Full Metal Jacket and Dirty Dancing.
When did Lethal Weapon? Let's see. When was the first one released? It was released in March. So.
Spring 1987.
So it came out. Yeah. So it's already been out now.
It's already been out. Yeah.
For a few months.
Okay. So we got.
Nice.
So like.
I'll leave that up to you guys. You guys can research what music, like what the number one songs were, what the top 40 was.
YouTube's With or Without You is going on.
Yeah, that'll all be on you guys.
Yeah.
I'll let
Honestly,
you tell
you've
me.
already put in, like, you've seen from our shit posting, but also our like article posting that we have been decently searching into weird historical facts. So
yes.
No,
I plan to come in well informed.
I think in universe in a strange twist, despite Will's kind of Punisher tier tough guy kind of look, he has a Whitney Houston track on his cassette.
I mean, I think anyone with 2 ears and a heart during that time is a Whitney Houston fan.
Oh yeah. Oh, my guy is like a.
Oh,
Looks like a total-
Venkman said, "Oh, 1987. OMG! I keep thinking in Bond terms. This might be said around Living Daylights, and George just confirmed that."
Yeah, Living Daylights is came out right around that time.
Yeah, maybe you guys go and watch that and laugh. Be like,
The Alf, like I told you, the Talking Alf, like I told you guys, the Talking Alf was out during this year. With
God.
On a Prayer came out this year.
And I told you.
Did I tell you all the story about for my vacation about living on a prayer?
No.
We'd be happy to hear it, though.
So I was driving to Florida, right? And I'm in. This is when I'm in the Panhandle, right? And it's cool because you get to the Panhandle, and then you realize you're still hours and hours and hours and hours,
Yeah,
hours away
that's a
from
fun
Orlando.
feeling.
And but out there in the Panhandle, it is like just road and trees for the most part. It's odd to me, and whenever I drive through Florida, how much of Florida you don't see from the highway.
Like, much to see, to be honest.
Like it's all just trees or swamp
Sand.
as you're driving down the highway. And the thing that I hate about Florida, now don't get me wrong, I love Florida, but the thing I hate about driving in Florida is if you miss your exit, congratulations, you're going to go about another 6-7 miles before you can exit again and turn around.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
And it's crazy. Anyway, so I'm driving, and sure enough, Bon Jovi comes on, and it's Living on a Prayer because the rental car had Sirius, and so I'm jamming out on the 80s channel. and so when as you do when Living on a Prayer comes on, you start to sing, and you get excited. It's it's a catchy tune. And I speed up to pass somebody, and then I get past them, and that's when I see the cop off on the right side of the road. And I'm going like 75.
Uh-oh.
Danger.
And so the lights go on. The guy pulls me over. I do the whole thing that I normally do. I've already got my license and insurance out. My hands are at 10 and 2. A big smile on my face when the guys, by the time the guys gets up to the car. And he's like, "Do you know how fast you're going?" And I said, "Honestly, I don't know. When when I saw you, I looked down and it was 75." And he goes, "Yeah. Did you pass up or did you speed up to pass somebody?" And I said, "I did, and I was listening to the radio, and Bon Jovi was on the 80s channel, and I just sort of kind of got into it and forgot,
Just cruising, huh?
lost sight of what I was doing." And he looks at me and goes, "Living on a Prayer?" And I said, "Yeah." And he goes, "Yeah, that'll do it."
You're the third one. You're the third person this week who said that.
Yeah. And he said, "All right, just sit with me, and we'll try to get you back on the road." I said, "Okay." So he came back on, and he goes, "Now, I'm going to let you off with a warning, And he said, "But yeah, try to maintain speed. If other songs come on, like Dr. Feelgood or anything, could you please maintain your speed?" And I said, "I will, officer. I'm sorry." And he goes, "All right, have a great trip at Disney." Because I had told them I was headed to Disney World, because they always ask you where you were going.
Right.
They always ask you where you were going, and then when you have a cop ask your Call of Cthulhu players out, they act like their First Amendment rights are being or their rights are being violated. Every cop will ask you, well, if you're coming from another state, where are you headed?
None of your business.
You guys are like, fuck off,
spit at them.
No, the best song in the world was released in '87. Never Gonna Give You Up.
Oh,
yeah.
We can can you imagine unironically being rickrolled, like in context, it making sense?
Oh, I would
and not being used as a stupid internet joke.
I would kill myself.
Where that song just came on and people just listened to it like it was a normal song, and they didn't have any kind of mental connection to that.
You couldn't rickroll in '87. There were no links to click.
I only hope.
I mean, you could change I could bet you could change like the cover on the record.
What were you saying?
I can only hope that it's like the final, that we're post finale, all driving back to the apartment, all bloody and bruised and thinking on our choices in life.
Oh, the other big hit in 1987 was "Walk Like an Egyptian" by the Bangles.
That's
wow.
What were you saying, Kelsey?
No, Kelsey and I were singing Rick Astley.
Oh, is that what you were singing, Kelsey? Okay, that was it.
A timeless classic that everyone loves to hate.
Here I go again. Was it
think-
Whitesnake?
I think I had an actual. I think I had an actual theme song for this. Give me a second.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that Bon Jovi song is now banned in Florida for that exact reason.
Mm-hmm.
George causes like a 70 car pile up.
I love what he said.
This is
Oh, yep.
yeah, this is our theme song, I think. And I think this is the closing song.
Okay.
Sorry.
That's what I was thinking though, Kelsey, is that Will has I Want to Dance with Somebody on his cassette tape.
Yeah, definitely.
Gosh,
the first thing we're doing is
We'll like go to like a back room and he'll just start
La
jamming.
Bamba was also big back here in this era too.
Oh,
Los
I've also got this in here, but I doubt I'll play it. But some of you may recognize
Here
it.
I go again. Oh no.
Yep, here I go again on my. Was it? Yeah.
Does anyone recognize this?
I think so.
I'm not good with remembering music, unfortunately.
It's by Kevin MacLeod, but it's the androids and aliens theme from Glass Cannon.
Oh, okay. All right.
The game they play, which is
Yeah.
Star. What is it? Starfinder? Their space version of Pathfinder? Starfinder? Yeah, Starfinder.
Yeah, Starfinder. Yep.
Yeah. All right.
I-
Well, go ahead. What were you gonna say?
I'm just looking at all these different songs that came out. I was like,
Yeah.
oh my gosh.
Definitely, our first mission is going to be to go to the cassette store, obviously.
Do y'all recognize this?
It
Yes.
sounds familiar, but
Only a few of you have heard this.
Hmm.
Alex hasn't heard it, but
Nope.
I think everyone else. No, Alex and Kelsey haven't heard it, but I think everyone else has. This is
Right.
the music that Prince and Dazzler were doing. In
Oh,
That's it, yeah,
yes,
during our
that's
Marvel
right.
games.
Marvel game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
We need
What
to
a
do. We need to.
fun-
We need
fun
to. We
thing
need to.
that
Do, we, need,
was.
we need to do another Marvel RPG.
Well, I told you guys what I was doing.
Oh,
with
for
that,
your
right? Like,
superhero
what
thing,
I
yeah.
was planning for that was like we could do the Marvel game, but we're gonna take the Marvel out of it.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna just do our own thing and
for
do it.
legally distinct Marvel.
No, it's not. It has nothing to do with legal stuff. It's just
No, just our own
um,
take on it. Yeah,
just
our own
our
original
own.
world.
I
Use
will-
the system, but like maybe you guys want to be the only heroes, or maybe you're like a second. Maybe you guys are second. That's going to be stuff that you guys have to decide for the campaign. It's like, were there heroes before you? Or are you the first heroes? What's going on? You know?
I will.
Right.
I will be the legally distinct Cyclops I-beam man. And instead of Jean, he goes Eve.
I want to know how Cyclops doesn't like break his neck every time he fires an I-beam.
Optic blast. Fuck you.
Yeah, he can focus it like on his visor. He can focus how much comes
Yeah.
out of it. Yeah.
But
Right.
still, like if he's doing a big blast, his neck's just gonna snap.
No, it's
No,
projected.
Newtonian
But no, it's
physics.
project. It fuck the laws of physics.
It's
Yeah,
projected.
that's-
It's projected from his eyes. There's no like
It's not like
yeah.
it's not like you're firing a cannon or something. You
there's
just
no
comes
recoil
coming out
in
of
his
eye.
head. Yeah, they're literally just being generated and coming out of his
And
eye.
if
Right.
and if you accept the punch dimension theory, that like all of his power just comes from like a dimension of full kinetic energy, it's just streaming out rather than being propelled through like chemical force or something.
Oh, I read some. I one time read some guy who was like, I forgot where it was, but he was like did his whole thing like, oh, if he was doing the if he was basically doing his version of the X-Men, and so his take on Cyclops was like, oh yeah, that's where the optic blasts came from, like a actual like his eyes were like a portal to another dimension, and so like along with expelling blasts, it would also like his eyes could also like create like black hole.
That sounds like a lot to deal with.
Yeah,
It sounds
And-
very inconvenient.
Punches from
Yeah.
the punch dimension.
from the punch dimension. Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
But,
You gotta have a punch monster come out of it though.
yes, that's true.
Giant fist-shaped laser blast.
Oh, okay. This dimension of sick ass lasers.
Dead or alive.
The
Holy
living
That
shit.
does sound fun, yeah.
Going through the
There's-
list, I'm like, ooh, concert singer me is gonna have a good time, and I'm just, this is great. I know all of them.
Yeah, because you got. I mean, if you're looking at the songs on here, you got. "Don't Dream It's Over" from Crowded House is
Hey
also
now.
on here. Hey now.
I used to love that back in the day. I loved
Yeah.
it when they
Stand by me.
had the Stand miniseries.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They had that. Don't Dream It's Over. It
Yep.
wasn't the original version. It was like a cover, but it was really good.
Right.
And they played that like when Franny's dad died, and
Oh,
she had to bury him.
Shakedown from Beverly Hills Cop 2 was a
Oh,
shakedown,
Shakedown's
breakdown.
Shakedown's
Everybody.
fantastic.
Yeah.
You want to hear maybe
It-
what's like a really controversial opinion? I think the Sixpence None the Richer cover of that song is better.
How dare you?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'm just kidding. I've never heard
Get
either.
out,
but still.
get out of my camp.
I've heard neither, but I still feel like you're wrong on principle.
You're not a person to me anymore. You're just a thing.
Okay.
Mhm.
That's
Putting you on my ostracized
What
list.
what do you want me to
You'll
say?
just-
What do you want me to say to you, man?
Oh, there was also this classic song that came out from last year. I'm gonna post it I'm gonna post it into the YouTube. I'm gonna post it into the Discord chat, so you guys will see what it is. And which I'm sure this is because this is actually tied. This is there you go.
I'm not putting this on the stream, Mike. You can't trick
Oh, I
me.
know you're not. I know you're not going to put it on the stream. I'm just saying that was
For
also a
personal
classic
use. Use it
song.
to help you next week. Get into character. Get into the mindset of a CIA
Yeah,
agent in the 80s.
because I mean it can kind of connect with Miami Vice in a way. I mean, so it's where Don Johnson tried to have his tried also to launch into his music career, and didn't quite work.
I mean, you miss all the shots you don't take. That's right.
Right? Yeah. There was that.
But I think we got everything,
But yeah,
right?
yeah.
All right,
We
I'm
can keep
gonna
making 80s references, but yeah, I think we're.
I'm gonna end the
right.
stream. So, yeah, I got 2 viewers somehow.
Yep.
All right.
Nice.
But
Yeah.
but next time
Next time
we
we're
are
gonna
going-
actually have
Things to
gameplay,
do.
action. Yeah.
Mhm.
So if
Some
they're excited this week,
action-packed-
just wait until we actually start doing things.
Yes.
Besides,
Alright.
Making 80s references.
ABBA came
Mhm.
out. When did ABBA come out? Oh, were they?
listen. That Don Johnson song. I love that thing.
Oh yeah.
Oh, no, I think
it is kind of, it is a weird kind of like, yeah, it's definitely of its time, but at the same time it's like, yeah, it's not as yeah.
You cannot underestimate the cultural impact Miami Vice had.
Oh,
I
I know that there's a lot. It had a
When
lot
I started
of
junior high, I could have probably grown a half beard in junior high.
Mm-hmm.
And at the time, they were selling razors that because of Miami Vice, they came out with a razor that you could it was like an electric shaver, but
Right.
you could use it and it would leave stubble. That was like when they
Mhm.
first came out with those. Like it wouldn't shave you,
Right.
like all the way. It would purposely give you stubble so you could look like Don Johnson.
Yeah, so you have this 5 o'clock shadow like all the time.
So-
Yeah.
so-
And I had, in junior high, I had the white pants and the white coat, but I didn't wear a pink shirt because it's gay.
Mhm.
That's how that went down in the '80s. If you were a dude and you had
Yep.
a pink shirt, that was gay.
It is salmon.
So,
Salmon.
so I had
you had to walk
I had-
around with a color chart in your pocket just in case.
So I had a red shirt,
Like the cop in that
instead.
Family Guy joke.
But yeah, Heartbeat. Yeah, that was a big song back in the day.
Let's see. Yeah, so
So Kelsey, if we go someplace where there is like a potential for an avalanche, I want you to say it's an avalanche.
Avalanche.
And
I'm sure that'll happen a lot in LA.
And we play. The building collapses. Avalanche.
Also, another big song that came out and like radios played the shit out of it was Eddie Murphy, "Party All the Time."
oh
kidding.
yeah.
That was on. It was on the radio all the effing time. I even sang it at one of the malls around me. They had a karaoke recording booth where like you could like come in and sing a song and have your shit put on tape, like a cassette tape.
Nice.
And I did "Party All the Time." Me and my friend
Good choice.
Anthony,
Good choice.
we went at
Hey,
junior high
Bruce.
kids, we did that.
Bruce Willis even had a top 100 song in
Yeah.
1987.
Are you serious?
Yeah, it's called Respect. He did a version of "Respect Yourself."
I need to figure out
Wow. It was a fucking Wild West back then, apparently.
What were you saying? What were you saying?
I said I need to
Kelsey?
figure out like the songs from like the 3 years before that because sometime like I knew in France, one of my covers that they normally just threw me into would be like, "You're gonna sing at this bar and try to seduce this person," and I was like, "Gotcha, boss."
You gotta play songs they like.
Yeah, but you got to do it in the French accent.
Ooh, that's hard. It's hard to sing in an accent.
When
There's
when
no
when
accent when you sing normally. It's
if
like
you're
you stop singing, you get
Well,
your accent.
I beg to differ.
if
Listen,
Depends.
if you're French and you have to like try to pass off an English accent, I want you to sound like Sofia Vergara on Modern Family when she tried to do an English accent, and it sounds so stiff. Hello, how are you doing today?
Love her.
she's
think
pretty great. There's a lot of reasons to love her.
My friend Joe Shelley, he's a Mormon, and he's one of my best friends going back to like early high school. And he did that whole thing, where like he went on mission, had to go like do Mormon school or whatever, and they taught him Spanish in like 5 weeks.
That doesn't sound very
And
comprehensive.
then they put him in the barrios, right? Like him and all of his like little Mormon friends had to go from door to door out in the barrios and like
That sounds like you're trying to get these people killed. What the hell?
and try to. Well, no, I mean they had community outreach and stuff. There's a lot of Latino and Hispanic Mormons because they do a significant outreach.
That's
But
true. They're very historically very religious people, but still.
but while he was doing that, that's where he first saw Sofia Vergara because she was in all the Latin magazines before anybody knew who the fuck she was in America. And he came back from Mormon mission and he was like, "Dude, I have seen the hottest chick on earth." And I was like,
she probably got that reaction a lot, to be honest.
this is back when she was probably like in her 20s, and he was like, you don't understand. I'm like, okay, well, what is this girl's name? And he told me, and then it was like a few years later, or maybe like 5, I can't remember. But then like Sofia Vergara started to become a thing over here. And Modern Family was the first time that a lot of people had seen her, but she had started doing modeling in America.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what I had seen her from modeling before Modern Family, and I was like, my friend was right.
Yeah, very pretty lady, very pretty lady.
Like my English is a 40, so I don't think I'm terribly awful at it.
You get the point across, yeah.
Oh,
like I think in the 40s to 50s, that's where you're like endearingly, maybe not great at English.
Wait a minute. So that means my English, if it says on here, my English is a 34. So I'm the worst English speaker in the entire group.
That is true.
You should definitely confuse a lot of words in Russian accents.
So I would basically, how do you say, what the wood for the like we're doing a lot of that kind of stuff.
Colonoscopy, and they're like, no,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah, right.
Credit card. Yes, credit card is what they mean. Yes.
Also, using the wrong prepositions is fun. You could say this mission is very dangerful.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yes. Exactly. Yes.
The conjugations that get you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
We're going from a language where language that has gendered objects and then one that doesn't.
Yeah.
What were you saying, Kelsey?
Alex was talking about working for the weekends.
And
that came out in 81. So yes, we got one.
We got one, baby. Let's go.
I mean, there's a lot of good music that would have come out. You don't have to just focus on music and movies from that year, because like even on like all the pop channels, they would play shit from like 4 or 5 years earlier.
I'm looking for anything from 80 up.
My goal is to nearly be like Baby Driver levels of music when driving stuff's going on.
Dude, they were even still playing Blondie, which started Blondie, I think started in 78 or 79. And they were still playing Blondie shit in the 80s, like late 80s.
You know what's weird? I was looking up ABBA to see if they were like thing. They actually recorded their stuff from 78 to 86. They didn't release in America till 92.
Oh no.
Real quick,
No. ABBA was huge here in the 70s, and I can't. listen to me. I can't stress this enough about how global ABBA was.
ABBA is very global.
Transcends national barriers.
When ABBA was hitting like
It's the Swedes.
they were very,
I could have
very
seen them in
big.
concert.
But in the 80s, you didn't hear their music a lot anymore because it was all like disco stuff. That's what people considered it. They considered it discos. Sometimes on the easy listening channels, not the pop channels, you would hear shit like Fernando, for example, which is my favorite ABBA song. I sing that so much. I sing that so much back in college that because I would sing do you hear the drums, Fernando? And I did that so much that about 3 what was it? I guess it was like 11:30 because it was when you could still buy beer. My friend Dan and I like went like late night to go get some beer back in college, and I started singing, and I've been singing it all night. And we're walking through the parking lot, and I piped it up again. Do you hear the drums, Fernando? And my friend Dan screamed at me at the parking lot, yes, Trey. Yes, for God's sakes, Fernando has heard the drums. Can we stop now?
I guess on that note, we'll end the stream. So I guess we'll be back on Monday for those of you guys that are watching.
Yeah. One more week. Yeah, one more week.
One more week.
All right. You have a good night. You have a good night, guys.
If you have any other questions or anything, just hit me.